It's not long.
Completely.
5 minutes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance with Gina.
Good evening, everybody. If you are able, please stand. Let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. And if you're wondering about the change of personnel up here, it's because the mayor is out of town, so I get to be acting mayor tonight.
It wasn't a coup?
I was expecting like a sash or a little tiara, but nobody got me one. So,
With more notice.
yeah, thanks. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. That's the first item of business for tonight. These are items that have been reviewed by the council committee and have been deemed to be appropriate for approval on the consent agenda. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed by any member of the council for individual consideration.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Sandra. Haley? I guess we have to vote. Haley?
Aye.
Gina?
Hi.
Sandra?
Aye.
Drew?
Aye.
Bryce?
Aye.
And I vote aye. I get to vote, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right. Next on our agenda is the public comment period and the mayor's response period. This item on the agenda, we allocate 15 minutes for the public to share your thoughts with the council for up to 3 minutes per person. For items that are not on tonight's agenda nor pending before Planning and Zoning Commission or the Board of Adjustment or related to pending litigation. When commenting, please provide your name and city of residence and please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. But I think we have a little bit of an exception tonight.
Go ahead. Hi, y'all. So, good evening, council members. My name is William. I am. Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Much.
All right, let's get close to it. All right. Good evening, council members. My name is William, and I own Shaget's Bagels, one of the very few Jewish family-owned businesses on the Palouse here. Over the holiday, I decided to put together Hanukkah goodie bags for Jewish kids and friends of Jewish kids in our community. Within 1 hour of publicizing the effort, I was flooded with responses not from self-identified white supremacists, but from people who actually claim to share my liberal values. Let me read you just a few of their words. Go ahead and keep all of those. Why even make this post knowing that genocide they're perpetuating? Nobody trying to see that crap. Be topical. Only one genocide going on right now. Disgusting to offer up these cookies when her kin are offering up 22 threes to Palestinian kids' skulls. Also, I wear that badge of anti-Semite with honor because you haven't been called an anti-Semite by now for supporting this genocide. Then you're naive at best and a rat at worst. Good for you. I'm guessing the responses from the alt-right and conservative friends is because they're generally more down with genocide. It doesn't sound like you're in it does sound like you're in La La Land, but who isn't? Happy holidays. How is it anti-Semitic to post emojis of a Palestinian flag after, I posted things about Hanukkah bags, which have nothing to do with the war in Gaza? Council members, these kind of attacks aren't just noise. The hatred is real. It has faces and names and is targeted squarely at Jewish people like me. What frightens me most is that it's coming from people who identify as liberals, my supposed allies. Let's be frank, a white supremacist might kill me for being Jewish, but people with these views can drag out pain for years on end trying to publicize shame and isolate me in my own community. It's been over a year and a half since October 7th, and it's hasn't stopped. This harassment is exactly why, for a long time now, I have been urging you to adopt the IRA, working definition of anti-Semitism. I won't repeat the entire definition. Many of you know it because I've shared it before. But let me emphasize that IRA is not about shutting down debate. It is about giving local governments, institutions, and community members clear guidance on what anti-Semitism looks like in real life, especially when it disguises itself as political commentary or feigned concern for human rights. Our community is vibrant and diverse. Many of us are passionate about social justice, but these messages blaming local Jewish family for global events, reveling in the term anti-Semite, and singling out Jewish kids' holiday treats cross every possible line of decency. There is a frightening escalation taking place, and if we don't take a firm stance now, I fear it will only grow worse because it is growing worse. I am begging you on my knees, if I have to help protect the Jewish community here. We need to be protected by laws and education. It's not my responsibility, it's yours. We have a phrase here in Hebrew called tikkun olam. It means fix the broken world. Our community is broken, and you guys need to fix it. Every morning, every Jew I know wakes up and says, sings or says a phrase, Vehata l'reha kamoka. It means love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay, William, your time is about up here.
Okay.
So if you could wrap it
Can I
up.
close real fast one sentence? Okay. I'm begging you. Okay. Yep. No, that was it. Sorry. And if I may approach you guys, I have a little present for you guys, if that's all right, for the members. And I hope you will wear these. So recently there were 3 hostages released. I have it on good standing that a lot of these women were repeatedly sexually assaulted
Okay, thank
over and
you,
over again.
William. You can also give them to Lori for her to distribute. I appreciate that. Thanks, Lori.
Our clerk.
5 of you, and if anyone wants more, I will print some later.
Thank you, William.
Thank you, William.
Thanks, William.
All right, next.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Tim Thompson. I live at 602 South Adams Street in Moscow, and I'm the president of the Rotary Club here in Moscow. And thank you very much for your service to our wonderful city, by the way. In about 3 weeks, our Rotary Club will be celebrating its 105th anniversary of serving this community in community service throughout the last century. And along with that, in the last 10 years, over the last 10 years, we have been part of the very successful farmers market here in the city. We all know about how well the city's farmers market has expanded and done so well over its existence. And we too, our Rotary Club, along with that partnership at the farmers market, has also been able to prosper because of that. As we finished our kettle corn fundraising this last year, for the second year in a row, we met $50,000 in gross income, of which the net proceeds go back into the community to help many of the nonprofits to make this city such a wonderful place to live.
Wait, $50,000 this year?
$50,000 gross.
And you said second year in a row.
That's
Sorry.
second year in a row, right? It just made it, but we did, and we bounced back quite well after COVID. Our point here today is that we couldn't do this without this great partnership we have with the city of Moscow at the farmers market, and that credit goes to the manager of that particular market, and that is, of course, Amanda Argona. And so our Rotary Club wanted to petition to the Rotary International in Evansville, Illinois, to consider our recommendation that we award to the city through Amanda a certificate of appreciation. And so I would like to ask if Amanda could come forward, and perhaps President Parker could also come up here. And I'd like to have Steve Cadlick come up with me, because he's been the biggest reason why we've been so successful these years, for a photo opportunity as I read this.
That's quite dear.
The Rotary Foundation of Rotary International Certificate of Appreciation presented to Moscow Farmers Market the trustees of the Rotary Foundation, and all those who benefit from the foundation's educational, humanitarian, and cultural programs appreciate your generous support. Signed, Mark Mahoney, Chair, Rotary Foundation, and Stephanie Urchik, the President of Rotary International. Amanda, thank you so much for your wonderful.
Banging on.
Yep, it was just shining at me.
That's the best.
We have our own photographer too, if you don't mind.
Come up. Oh, yeah, come on.
You can come up.
Oh. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, Amanda, so much for all your wonderful management skills.
That's pretty cool.
Congrats, Amanda.
Congratulations.
We look forward to the popcorn next year.
Yeah.
Kellicorn.
Because that stuff is addictive.
Yeah.
All right, any more public comments this evening? Oh, one. Thank you, Haley.
I'm Tim Park. I live at 403 East A, and I'm here to discuss I'm here to put the notion in front of the council that the yard waste transfer station is not a safe facility. And I'm here to enlist the council's support in changing how the transfer station is operated so that it is not the kind of mess that you often find it. So I'm not exactly sure where to go with this. I have numerous recommendations, not numerous, but several recommendations. I know that the city wants to move it elsewhere, but until that happens, I think a few things could be changed in how the place is run that would make the place much safer, much more user-friendly. And that's all I've got to say.
Tim, if you could maybe leave your contact information for us, then one of us
Sure.
can follow up with
Yep.
you. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? It was a rush for the podium tonight. All right. The next item on the agenda is the resolution authorizing city attorney to submit a claim on behalf of the city of Moscow for the payment card interchange fee settlement with Mia Bautista.
Thank you. Good evening. So back in 2005, there was a putative class of over 12 million merchants who brought an antitrust action against Visa, MasterCard, and other affiliated issuing banks. And the allegation was that they violated the antitrust laws. To put it as plainly as I can, you had competing banks who came together and came up with what fee they were going to charge for merchants' use of accepting credit card payments. So that credit card payment transaction fee for every transaction, they got together and set what that fee would be. And so that's an interchange fee. That was a violation. And so after about 15 years of litigation, they reached a settlement agreement and the amount of about $5.5 billion. And so the city of Moscow is a qualifying merchant. The time frame which qualifies us is January 1, 2004 to January 25, 2019. The city was a merchant who accepted those Visa, MasterCard, and paid fees in order to accept those. So the city of Moscow is a qualifying merchant. In order for us to opt in, I need authorization from you all to opt in on the city's behalf. A couple things will happen. One, they will then do the research to see how much the city would qualify to claim. And then once all the merchants file, and February 4th, I believe, is the deadline. Once all the merchants file, then there is the class action administrator and their team who will go through all of the claims, verify that what's being claimed is in fact true with the records they have. It'll be a lengthy process, and there's really no way of knowing how much the city may get or what percentage. It'll all be based on a calculation based on the qualifying amount. But this is one of those things where we won't know how much we get unless we opt in and go through that process. If we choose not to opt in, then we are not eligible to receive any of the funds as part of this $5.5 billion settlement. And so that's where we're at. So this resolution is to seek your authorization for me to, on the city's behalf, to submit a claim.
All right, questions?
Do you anticipate that this opting in is going to be like a month of your time, or is it going to be like 5 minutes?
Well, I wouldn't say 5 minutes. I've already put a little bit of time just understanding the issues.
Couple hours.
But just a couple hours. This will not take what I would consider a significant amount of legal staff time.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
None for me.
I move we approve the resolution, period.
Second. Period.
All right, let's take a vote. Bryce,
Aye.
Drew,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Gina,
Aye.
Haley,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Great. Well, that was a pretty short agenda today, and we are on to reports. Haley, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I'm dusting off my mental cobwebs. I don't know that I actually have much other than we had a smart transit board meeting, first with Christy Click. Elisa was right last time when she saved me with my brain gap. With Christy Click, who is our office manager at Smart Transit. She's got a number of really good process improvements. We're doing some personnel, or I guess some like guiding policies to just make sure that we're all buttoned up as far as any checks that are getting signed, and a lot of which are still getting physically signed as we're moving to ACH for staff efficiency reasons and also for like payroll efficiency for the staff at Smart Transit. But she's got a number of really great policy ideas. So it's been great working with both Christy and Casey Green, the executive director. And the hope is the app called Passio that offers the live bus tracking and the ability to give push notifications to riders if there's a street closure or something. They're hoping to bring someone on site from the organization to do training with the bus drivers and hopefully roll it out in March, which has been a moving target, we all know, but it's been a good challenge. But the hope is we also want to make sure that when we roll out Passio, that the folks who maybe don't like using smartphones, sorry, I pointed to Sandra. It's not that Sandra doesn't like using a smartphone, but Sandra always reminds us to make sure that we've got tech options for folks who don't reach for technology in the same way. That's been a conversation, is how do we make sure that we're not leaving loyal riders behind who maybe aren't stoked about using smartphone resources. So I think that's my biggest update. Yes, that's where I'll stop.
Oh, Gina, sorry, I can't do like art where he does
popcorns.
random. I'm just going in line.
You can just call me really anything like Art does too. Susie, Penny.
Council member Terusio.
Yeah, council member. The tree commission canceled in spite of the fact that it took me like a week to recover from it. But they'll be back in February, and we'll be talking about springtime stuff, and that will make me sure that we'll make it through the winter. I also now have the joy and the really strong right arm from carrying around the packets for the Transportation Commission meeting. It was awesome to see. I've sat on transportation. I think it was 5 years ago. I'm not even sure about the timing. But what's really cool and what is at the same time very sad is the same people that were sitting on it then are still on it now. Cool that I get to go back and be around people who are as dedicated to a cause, just like the tree people. These transportation people are really into it. Erin Bacon is like the queen of all transportation. The big things that they're doing, we had an update from Idaho Transportation Department, and it wasn't on Thorn Creek to Moscow. As much as I want to tell you it'll be done next weekend, it's not going to be. And the cool part was the guy that was giving us the update was actually being recruited to the city. I think he's now our employee. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
And he was super smart and gave us all good answers and stuff. And then this is what kind of makes me feel a little bit long in the tooth, like my dad would say. We are updating the multimodal transit plan. Do you remember when we
2014?
yeah, okay, we're doing it. And so we went through kind of some of the things that caught us the other night, things that were sticking out for the Transportation Commission themselves, things that we thought that were pain points. And of course, Highway 8 was there, things like that. But it was really cool to look at it 10 years later. I'm surprised at how enthusiastic I am with this whole thing. We also had a moment with your new transit director, Casey Green, the new smart transit director. Go meet him. He's really great and enthusiastic, and already has the smart transit mantra. And I think he'll be a good addition to the team. So that's all I have. It was just a cool meeting.
Thank you. Councilmember Kelly.
I don't have the same enthusiasm. I want to. I just can't seem to generate it as much. I'm a little in awe of all that. I love my fire department folks, and that's what I had coming up. But all I can say is I can't remember how many calls they said they had went on over the holiday break. It was a lot. And I think it was in the paper. And they're off. They had a very quick meeting and then jumped right into training, which is great. I think they run a really efficient board, and it's a full house. They have lots of great people there, and I'm just grateful for what they do and that they're always training for it. So that's all I have. It's my only meeting this week.
Councilmember Mr. Vice President Davis.
Thank you for not calling me Bryce.
Try to keep you guys straight.
Keep us straight. Not that it's bad. It's a compliment. I want to be sure it's a compliment, but art gets us confused a lot. But for me, all my meetings for the commission happen at the beginning, which haven't happened this year because of the new year. So they're happening in February. But we did meet as joint council and the Mura board to basically just discuss updates of the future of that, and hopefully having this a yearly occurrence. I think that's the anticipation of most board members. Just to update council direction. We can ask more targeted questions. And so from my perspective, I think it went well. I'm glad that we were able to do that. And then everything else, I just have to wait to happen. So I don't have a lot of things to report on. So sad about that, but I'll keep it short.
Councilmember Blankenship.
Yeah, thank you, Council President Parker. Appreciate it.
Lord,
Very
so
formal.
formal.
Period.
Are we?
Right?
Really? Let's go.
I've got a handful of things just to take up a little bit more time since things were kept a little bit short. But I'll start by saying that P&Z was canceled on January 8th, but there is a meeting tomorrow, which I will not be able to attend. But Council President Parker will be there in my absence, and I am excited about that. Also, most of us, if not all of us, with maybe one exception, attended the Moscow Urban Renewal Agency workshop last week after our our Public Works and Finance Committee meeting, and it was a really great workshop. For me personally, it was really helpful to hear the past work that Mura had done, and also the work that Mura is doing in the future, and kind of the various places, and one particular place in particular that they're focusing on. And I left that meeting feeling really just encouraged about the work that's being done, and excited to continue to be part of those conversations. So thanks to city staff for putting that together and coordinating all that. That was great. Attended my first Arts Commission meeting last Tuesday. Great group of folks, some that I knew and some that I didn't, but I'm excited to get to know them over the next year. And it was a cool topic of conversation, incorporating the next plan with the city shop but then public art that'll go along the fencing or even on some of the new rebuild of the city shop once that is all complete. So I like that they're really looking down the future, but also it was exciting to see their excitement about this, project that's probably going to happen in a year plus, right? So that was neat. And approximately an hour and 24 minutes ago, I attended my first Sustainable Environment Commission, where there was a little bit of a discussion on a climate action plan prioritization questionnaire on what sort of things that the city might be doing, but could be doing better. And they kind of were working through a questionnaire to put to other commissions, and it seemed like good work. And then right as I was leaving, Kelly Cooper was giving a water conservation plan update that a lot of us saw at a breakfast last year, I think mid-fall. So it was nice to revisit that. Like many of you, we are headed to Boise tomorrow or Thursday for Elected Officials Day at the Capitol. So it'll be great to represent Moscow while down there, meeting with reps and seeing what's going on down there. And then lastly, in honor of Amanda Argona, and since there won't be another council meeting until after this occurs, Winterfest occurs on February 1st, so a week from Saturday, 12 to 4, downtown Moscow, and it's always a good time. So that's what I got.
Great, thank you.
Madam President, I forgot one thing that Bryce reminded me of.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Mayor Bedke and I are our District 2, not 3, does that sound right?
That's right.
District 2 representatives for the acronym soup, everybody, the Idaho Association of Cities, which means during the legislative session, the mayor and I, along with 2 other representatives from across each district in the state, I think we have 7, get on a phone call every Friday morning and discuss any legislation that's moving related to the cities. The 2 things I wanted to flag that have been discussed so far, there was a resolution that the AIC put forward to ask for better, basically don't lose sight that despite the split for trans infrastructure, specifically road improvements, I think it's something like 70 to the state and 30 to municipalities. And I might have these numbers in the wrong order. It's like 80% of the density of the roads are being managed and improved by municipalities. And so it's asking for some equity and keeping that in mind, where if you've got, when you're talking about state infrastructure allocation dollars, a lot of the densest parts of those roads that the state technically has oversight over, but the municipalities have to maintain, it's not a fair split, so to speak. And so that's one thing they're working on. I think the intention was to introduce that early in session so that the legislature can keep that in mind while they're working through the transportation budget. And then the other thing that the board at AIC voted to oppose, which is all on their legislative scorecard online, is an ordinance. There's a bill that's moving through, and I can't remember what the number is, that would prohibit cities and counties from requiring EV chargers in new developments. It seems to be in direct response to something that the city of Boise had implemented in their own ordinances. After a lot of conversation, the board, who, mind you, is represented, it's every district in the state. It's people from Spirit Lake, it's people from Boise, it's people from Emmett, like it's all different sizes, including Lewiston. The reason we got as a board to the place of opposing was local control is local control. And so it's in the same sort of preemptive clause category that we've always opposed as the Association of Idaho Cities. So those were the 2. I'm not sure that the EV one is moving right now. Sorry. Not yet. And charge, yeah, it's gearing up. Pity laughs. I love it. But those
conversation though.
Yes. So we will. So but the crystal ball is kind of fuzzy, but the expectation is there will be some regulations, changes to the ordinances in code that allow for what URAs, urban renewal agencies, are allowed to do. So we're kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop, and I'm sure there will be other things, but I wanted to flag those 2 for us, and I'll do my best to send notes out after those Friday phone calls. They've been
Great.
only around an hour. They can go up to 2 or 3, but
Oh my
right now they're
goodness.
about an hour. So
You can go
thank you, Madam President.
That would be great. So as for me, I did attend the Moscow Urban Renewal Agency joint meeting with the council. I agree with you guys. It was very informative and helpful to kind of remember what the framework was for that URA, however many years ago that it was started. And I also have Human Rights Commission. I had that today. At Human Rights Commission, they voted Aaron Agidius as the chair of that committee and Elizabeth Stevens as the vice chair. It talked about various upcoming opportunities for the Human Rights Commission to mostly sponsor events and are getting ready to support the Latah County Human Rights Task Force's MLK breakfast on Saturday from 9 to 12:30. Wait, 9:30 to 12. Sorry, 9:30 to 12. So if you don't have tickets yet for the MLK breakfast, you can always look on that Latah County website and see if you can get tickets for that breakfast. I think that's about all I have for me, except getting to chair the meeting. That was fun. Would anyone like to move to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
So moved.
Okay, so move. All right, look, I get to bang again.
Well done.